5 years for the county recycling. Did Chris provide you with the proposal? The latest?
She sent it to us.
The pricing that we've given, we kept it at $281 per home. Basically under the same contract language. It's going to save what we've done is the major changes. We used to bill for the maximum amount of occupied homes, which was $1,260 for the old contract. We've dropped that down to $1,000. So we've taken off 260 billable homes off of there. It's going to save the county about $9,000 a year. $9,000 a year. So, which is great because I know Jason and Jay have worked very hard with their efficiencies and dialing everything in operationally to create that type of savings. Because I don't know if anybody's read anything about what China's doing with the recycling market. The processing costs are way up because we've had to slow down the processing lines. Commodities are way down. They've gone from basically a 5% allowable contamination rate to a 0.5% allowable contamination rate. And they're actually talking about cutting off all the importing of recyclables by 2021. So it's a really big deal for the recycling markets. Questions, concerns?
There was a request what it would take to do drop sites instead.
It's going to be a little more expensive because we generally try to handle those with roll-offs, and the contamination it's really not controllable with the drop sites. We'd rather keep it on a per home. We feel as though we can put out the education to the residents. We have the addresses to send out, the calendars, the education. We do have our RORR, or recycle off and recycle right, that we could actually tie a link to the county if the county wanted to. And that's our website that gives all kinds of information, dispels myths about recycling. It gives some great tips on what's recyclable, what's not recyclable. So that's another thing we could do. But if at all possible in this day and age, I mean, we used to go with a lot of drop sites, but the contamination rate would be.
It's garbage down too, or what?
Oh yeah, you get that a lot, and then you've always got that certain percentage who, well, they really don't care. They're looking for a place to drop anything. So
what if we guaranteed no contamination?
If you guaranteed no contamination, I could get some pricing for some drop sites, but it's run with roll-offs. So generally, you're pulling a box, bringing in a box. It'd be fairly spread out. How would you handle the?
So the roll-off boxes, in my experience over the last 12 years, TVs, couches, chairs, car parts, engine blocks, because they can open the back door. They open the back door, they slide it in from the back. Household trash, it is a place to get rid of your trash.
Well, if we had a secure area that we monitored, and we, I'm not saying this.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can.
I haven't even done that.
We can definitely
do it. What would the price be then if we could guarantee no contamination?
We have to go back to the drawing board. I guess we didn't even really consider that. You know, we had talked about it at one time. Then the other piece of that is, you know, yeah, if it is on the county property or something where you can control that, that is a huge plus. You'll also be able to control the litter, because if it's just in a country and a field approach, the litter flies. The wind comes up, people don't shut the doors, and it goes through there like a tornado. Then the last piece of that is all winter long, keeping it clean so people don't slip, trip, fall, and, you know, the liability that goes along with it. And then so our trucks can get to it to switch it out. But yes, we can definitely look into it and go back to a drawing board if that's what you guys would like to discuss. We have the capability and the equipment, so.
Yeah, it was in there, but I must have. What is the percentage of use do we have in the county, Chris?
Oh, I don't think I printed that off from the last email I got. I've been trying to forward you guys that.
Yeah. Do you have that?
I don't, it's in my emails.
No, but we do have that number though. Of how-
Oh, the percentage of use?
Percentage of
No,
use, no.
no, I just have what we've had
Do
picked
you
up.
guys have that number?
For how many residents are utilizing?
Or actually
services?
utilizing it?
I think rural 897, and I think overall. We've got 867 rural, and then, in the cities that we service, 1,214 residential units. So we are getting some use out of it. And then, most of those rural customers and some of the city have the extra carts.
Yeah,
They'll have two or three. We've got basically, the rural folks, you can double the carts, so we're talking around 1,600 carts.
I attended one of your meetings once that indicated that you get some kind of credits from the state by accumulating this recycling and tonnage
Waste Management gets
Yeah.
credits?
towards their landfill permitting.
I guess I was unaware of that.
I know that,
There was a public meeting that I know they did it in Worth County and in Winnebago County. I attended the one at the theater in Lake Mills.
okay,
And it was a public information meeting that they presented that through recycling and the more tonnage you do through recycling, you get credits with the Department of Natural Resources or whoever you deal with on the permitting.
I know with the individual cities, they get some credits with the landfill designation. That was part of that. I would have to check, but I don't believe Waste Management does. I know, and but I believe that the individual cities do for the diversion. You have to excuse me, I got a cold, so I'm talking a little soft.
One of the issues I encountered with the program was when the sheet came out, or the calendar came out, trying to differentiate the coloring. My father and I happened to be on a section that's in pink. For him, especially, to differentiate between pink and another color is really hard.
Okay.
I don't know if there's some way you can have a better calendar that would clearly identify when your pickup date is, because we're at the end of a month, and sometimes it's the first Friday of the month, and that can be the most confusing part. You know, maybe the people towards the beginning of the month are pretty regular, but we can be very confused.
I wouldn't be 100% positive, but I think we could probably change colors. Any suggestion on the colors?
I don't know. Just
Something bold instead of pastel,
Then a light pink or, okay.
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
well, they're light.
Yeah, it was a pastel pink.
Yeah, I'm sorry, so if it were just.
And there was a red also, and they
Yeah.
blended.
Yeah, there's really no reason why we couldn't
Yeah, we have
change
to
color.
go.
And then we had that issue first of the year. We didn't get the calendars till March, something like that. So we weren't really sure at the beginning of the year.
And Jason had just filled me in. We were in a transition period. You'd had John Beesman as your public sector rep, and we're the ones that actually handle the calendars. And generally, the mailings are supposed to be going out first part of December to get it to the residents in January. Well, that was when he transitioned to a district operating manager. We brought in Jason Hartman, who was not familiar with it. And now they've switched territories, and I'm going to be, going forward, I will be your public sector representative. So I will make sure going forward that I've got a list, all my cities and all my counties get their calendars.
Any Facebook page we can pass along, or any website we can pass along, if there's any changes in the schedule due to weather or whatever, where people can know that they're not going to be picked up that day. Say it's a blizzard, you're setting your container out there and it's going to get blown away anyway. If they didn't have to set it up because they knew you weren't coming. So there's some kind of communication we can have.
Well, yes and no. So everything in Winnebago County's occupant account, meaning it's a county contract. so there really isn't individual accounts, but you can go to just the regular waste management website and
We
it'd be
could add,
very difficult.
well, we could add that link
There's like a Winnebago County link.
to the Winnebago County website. That'd be something we could do along with our Recycle Off and Recycle Right
Yeah.
website. We could add those links where, the residents could patch into the county.
Our school has got, they put it out over text messages and email and all that, you can get on a thing, address there that, like school closings are 2 hours late and stuff like that, and they'll send it out. Sometimes it's early in the morning.
Right.
I do like how I get an email though, that says you're not gonna go out.
Yeah.
And then if people call, then I already know.
Yeah, because,
So
so
that-
I personally send out an email to, there's about 15 people on that email. Freeborn County, Steele County, Winnebago County, and then a bunch of other on there saying, we're not running, or we're running trash, we're not gonna run recycling, or, put out a clear explanation, so anybody who does call, you know what to say to them.
Right.
Um,
That's been
Like
helpful.
if you got it, like it's gonna be on our website or yours or whatever, you put that, like, is there like a spot on the calendar, you can put, to have a little thing that says, if inclement weather is gonna happen, go here to see if your pickup is gonna happen or something like that. If you stuck that on the calendar.
So, okay, just a reminder,
I can definitely look into that, absolutely.
if you don't run today because of a blizzard, do you come back tomorrow?
Yeah.
And our day is Friday, so then do you come Saturday or do you come Monday?
It comes second.
Saturday.
Okay, because that would help, because then people wonder, well, when are they gonna pick up? And then I didn't know that.
We always will come the following.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay, no matter if it's a weekend or not.
It does, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we generally don't work Sunday, but we have in the past, if you have 2 snow events or weather events and, and then, so Winnebago County is a challenge, right? Because it's all gravel roads. And even if it snows 4 inches, the gravel roads seem to unfortunately get 6 or 8, right? Behind every grove, there's those drifts. So we really try to get out the following day, no matter what. There are certain sections we just can't get to. It's just unsafe to drive through. But we will get out the next day and begin the service. How can we get occupant accounts on the same email? I mean, we do send out email blasts. I mean, it would take some work probably for you to even get email addresses.
Right. When people sign up to get the cart, what information did you get from them?
Address.
That was it. Not a phone number, not anything,
Generally, no, if it's not a billing account, we generally don't have their phone number.
right?
And that's, a lot of customers like that. It's
Oh,
kind of
right.
a security.
Sure.
It'd probably just be simpler to have something where they go to a website that you have that's on the calendar that says, go here to see if there's gonna be cancellations for weather.
Yeah, I would do that.
Because that would be simpler than you trying to get everybody's phone numbers, I would think.
We can look into that definitely and follow up with you.
Absolutely.
I would think we could do it through our website and our Facebook page. What
So-
we utilize.
Is it something that if I email you, you can just put it on your county website? I don't know who
I would have
runs
to send
that.
it to Eric or Karma.
Would it be something, a permanent link where it's always current notices for, you design a site that's a current notices for delays or whatever, and we would always have on our website where this is where you can check if there's any current notices.
We do.
We don't really have anything.
Other
That
than,
remains-
other than the service alert.
The service alert that goes out, but that would have to be everybody's email address or phone number. So we do have a system that alerts individuals, but it's either email blast or a phone call. It's automated and it comes right to your whatever phone or email address.
It doesn't go to cell phone.
It does now, as of a month ago. That changed. It wasn't able to use cell phones, but now it does. But like you stated, that's gonna be a lot of work to put together a
I think
list.
the way the school does it is they have, everybody has to enter it into their own phone. So if you had it on, you know, your page or whatever, on the calendar, then they can go in there and sign up for your alerts or whatever. I think that's the way it's done in school.
We're coming up with new stuff every couple of months. Let me look into that.
Set up a Winnebago County Facebook page.
We have one.
They have
I'll post to it. Sign me up.
Oh, there you go.
Every time we have a weather event, I'll post to it the exact same information I send you through email. And then they can sign up as they wish and get the same information instead of recreating the wheel. Would
The
that
problem
be?
is we have 10,000 residents and only 500 people on the Facebook page. It doesn't reach a lot of.
Well, this gives them the option though to sign up, right?
Yeah, if they wanna know, if they're concerned that their containers are getting blown over, they're gonna have their
'Cause I don't
recycling
have-
all over the place.
I don't have a ton of people that call on snow days. I don't.
When I'm out driving the school bus, I see things sitting out there all week long sometimes, so it's.
It could be if you have 10 people that go to the Facebook page and read it. Those 10 people will pass it on to somebody else and it will network.
Yeah, we can just add it to the to-do list, right? Anytime the inclement weather, send the email and the next thing will be post to that Facebook page.
And the ones that have concerns are the ones that will investigate.
Yep, they're the ones that can
And
look.
the ones that don't care, we'll worry about it.
Yep.
And it would be nice on your schedule, on your calendar, that you would write, if we aren't there on the pickup day because of weather, it will be the next day. So they don't have to wonder, well, is it gonna be next week then, next Friday, or
Sure.
is it next month? How long do I have to wait?
Sure.
The more information you can give them on that calendar, the better. Because if people call Waste Management, they do not get any help. Not one bit of information. Because for one, they say, oh, I'm from Forest City. We don't pick up Forest City.
And that could be something, we do have a green pages, and I don't know the last time it was updated, to be honest with you, Chris.
Right.
But we are gonna get it updated. So
So
that
there
there's a
isn't a
reps-
good number, and I never give out your guys' phone numbers. I just don't. I keep it, and that way I can call you or email you. You don't need to be
We'd appreciate
flooded
it.
with those calls. But if there were something that they could have that.
Sure. Yeah, we can, don't see why we can't add it to the calendar. We print it, so.
Yeah.
And I will be updating, making sure that the green pages is updated, because when they call in, our customer service rep should have all that information that
And
comes up.
they don't. I don't know where it goes. Some people get Illinois, some people get California. I mean, I've had about every state.
Yeah, but the people in California, it doesn't matter if they're in Thailand, they should still have that information for Winnebago County. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will be, and I will have our support people.
Just a question, guys, how about setting up a phone number that is like robotic or just an answer machine that not only Winnebago County, but all your other services or other communities could call in, and it would be a call-in number that no one has to answer, it's automatically answered, answer machine. And you could put the update on that, you know, no service to Winnebago County today, yours will be picked up tomorrow. And then list that on, you know, the calendar. People start getting used to that, they would call that instead of calling Chris. It's just an option,
Deal.
it'd be kind of a simple thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that we have anything like that, but
No.
I suppose the problem is that a large company like this, it could be widespread. You could have something out in Montana, you have all these different things
True.
that'll, you'll have to sit and listen to that message going on and on and on about all these different delays. You isolate it.
And like I said, I don't get that many calls, you know, so the few that I get on a snow day, I'm okay with it. As long as I know that you're.
Email thing's working though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Perfect.
yep, it's been great. I just feel bad when people call and they're like, well, we called Waste Management, blah, 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 and I'm like, I know, you can't get anyone. So,
I will work.
that's
on
the
it.
biggest headache.
We'll work on that part.
Do you still receive the waste reduction and recycling fees that you're required to collect? Our conservation board manager sent this to me. When the Conservation Board coordinated the program 20 years ago, it was funded 100% with the waste reduction and recycling fees that the landfill was required to collect. Back then it was $60,000.
I guess I don't have any idea. I can't. So that would be on the landfill side of
We
things.
called it a tipping fee.
No, it was different.
It's different?
Yeah, but and also, what was up until 2 years ago, we used to get tipping fees also.
Like a rebate for the processing, or?
No, that was strictly for the garbage that came into Winnebago County.
Oh, see, I honestly don't know anything about the
I would have to
garbage.
check on that, the
Okay.
tipping fees, 'cause
Okay.
that at one point it was $90,000 to our county.
Okay.
And that just dried up.
That's what we were paying for this program.
Sure.
When we don't have the revenue, it's
Sure.
really hard to justify when we're short on funds for our budget to spend the money out of taxpayer dollars rather than.
Yeah, you gotta, just give us a chance to get some information on that, because that's gonna be on the landfill side of things.
Yeah.
That's something I know nothing about.
That's fine. We never did get an explanation why that dried up, so.
Okay. Sure. I'm sure we'll get you that explanation.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Well, thank you.
Yep, and you'd like some pricing on drop sites?
Do we, right now?
I guess at this point, with some of the explanations, I think it might be in our best interest to keep it curbside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be hard to police it, because even in Buffalo Center, when they had, they took them away now, for years, we've had dumpsters behind the city hall that if you missed the garbage pickup, and then they got TVs and couches, and, I mean, it is hard to police that stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, appreciate your time.
You too.
I'll get you this.
Either no matter this one, this is the future, we're gonna throw that crap somewhere anyway, this will be in the dumpster, so you can get rid of it.
Bill?
I just wanted to come and talk to everyone today. We're going to be losing, I'm gonna step up here if that's okay. Losing one of our paramedics. He filled out resignation papers. His last day will be this week, so we'll be going down to 3 paramedics. We're looking down the road that there aren't going to be any applications. We've had it out in the paper, we've had it on websites, we haven't even got one application. Last year took us, or the last time, which was I think 3 years ago, took us 6 months to get one application in. It's a supply demand, there are no paramedics out there right now, and there haven't been for a couple of years, and I don't foresee anything in the future getting better. EMS as a whole is in the dumpsters, to say. There's just no one that wants to step forward and help out. The volunteerism is lacking, and it's not just with EMS, it's every place. But back on the paramedic side, came up with an idea last week, and we've been pitching it. I pitched it to our ambulance service, went to the city last night, and I'm coming to you guys today to see if you would be interested as a county in a 3-way share of putting a candidate through the paramedic training. Then that candidate would go through the training, and it'd be about a year from now that they would be through the classes, and then they would give a 4-year commitment to the paramedic program. Winnebago County, City of Forest City. Forest City Ambulance Service has already signed a letter of intent that they will go a third. Talked with the city last night, they're very interested. The only thing that they want to know is what contracts are out there if anybody else has done this. Just to see what's being paid for, what the dollars are, and then the retention is. 4 years too long, is 4 years not long enough? They want me to come back in 2 weeks. They'd like to know what if the county's interested in going a third, and they'll decide at that point. Right now, judging from their actions, it's very positive. I don't see any reason that they're not going to. We're looking at costs from anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 total overall, and that's even with the applicant putting in some own sweat equity. We asked them to pay for mileage and meals and necessities that they would have. Be a year-long class down at either Des Moines or Ankeny. It's a very intensive class to get them through as quick as possible, plus give them the best training. DMAC is what I'm leaning towards, but we're still waiting on some of the information because they're on semester break right now. So getting the coordinator to give me a call back might take another week. It's time critical. We've got to have someone signed up probably by the first week in June. Classes fill up and they don't take anybody, and it's another year for another class to start. It takes 3.5 medics to run a 24/7 paramedic service, and we're going to be running with 3 medics for a year. So it's going to be difficult at best. But with this candidate, we've run with him for about a year now. He's a local guy, very solid, very interested in EMS, very interested in doing this program.
How old is he?
I'd say 20. He's from the Buffalo Center area. He's run with our service. He's run with Buffalo. I talked with him and his mom again yesterday at length, trying to get down some specifics and things that we could work on. Again, this is a new program. I'm just spitballing as I go, trying to figure it out, but we're not looking for any applicants coming in. The next problem is this might be a business as normal from going forward. At the end of this year, we will have 2 of the 3 remaining paramedics IPERS retirement eligible. If we can't get anybody and we can't put somebody through, we will probably go down to 3 paramedics, 1 medic on per day, and not do any paramedic assist. Now I know that not doing any paramedic assist, we may lose county funding for that, but it's a balancing scale we got to try and figure out, because we can't run with 3 medics forever. If 1 medic takes a week off, then the other 2 medics have to run 24/7. And it's, with the talk of essential services and things like that coming up, I'm not in favor of essential services. I'd like the counties to figure out what's best for them. When you talk essential services, you're talking the state is dictating it. And when the state starts dictating it, it's not always for the best. It's usually dollar intensive. And if you went to a full-time paid service, it costs $400,000 to have 1 crew in the county. And that's just labor costs. So you start factoring in ambulances and everything else, but that's a whole nother story that we could spend hours on. But what I'm asking you guys is for commitment moving forward on this. Again, the cost would be between $15,000 and $20,000, depending on which school we go with. If I get in DMAC, we'll be a little bit less, but it sounds like those numbers are filling up.
So if I understand you correctly, this is a one-time deal just to satisfy your need right now, within a year?
Right now, yep. The other question came in from the city last night. We've got open application right now. What happened if someone came in that is very well qualified, wants the job? That we thought about that, and one of the staff members is seriously thinking about retirement, but is not willing to put it on paper. A lot of things change in 1 year. To me, I would still rather move forward, if we got a new applicant, hire them on, still bring the other one on, and switch the schedules around a little bit. But as far as county funding, we may have to look at that, because the numbers just keep going up. We have to keep paying more and more to get medics in. Sometimes you can throw as much money as you want at them, and you still can't get anybody to apply. So, on a side note, for this coming year, if we have to run 3 medics, I'm looking into another policy change that may drop down to one medic from the hours of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Those are our low peak, off-peak hours. It would give that other medic, another 12 hours off the calendar because they're going to be 48 on, 24 off. That would give them another 12 hours off. We would still do paramedic assist, but we would go out in our area and evaluate the patient. It's non-critical, we'll transport with an EMT. If it's critical, go with paramedic. So then it'll just be a lottery system. So if Buffalo Center or Lake Mills is out and they request a paramedic, then Forest City's not going to be able to have a paramedic, till they get back. If Forest City's got that paramedic out in a critical call, then Buffalo Center, Lake Mills calls, they won't be able to get Forest City. They'll have to get someone else for those hours.
When an ambulance leaves Forest City, is it one paramedic and one volunteer?
Right now, our first up crew is paramedic, EMT, and driver. Our second up crew is paramedic and driver. If a paramedic is out on an assist, then we do a driver and a call-in EMT is what we do. But with talking with the state, and I've had quite a few meetings with the state, they're okay with us going out because of all the ambulance calls, probably only 30 to 40% are critical calls. You get the stub toe, the toothache, and that's what's draining EMS right now is the non-necessity calls. And some days you could have 7 ambulances, still not have enough ambulances in town. But
I hear you put my hang down.
yeah, I mean, it's jokingly, but that's the way society is going right now. It's, yep.
It's unbelievable what people.
We've had people call us, live in town, and they want to be taken over to the hospital so they can get pain pills because they don't want to go uptown and get some aspirin. And those are non-paying calls. No insurance company, not Medicare, not Medicaid is going to pay for those. But you try and talk them out, but then where does it become a liability for that EMS service? If something happens along the line, then they feel liable. But my first priority right now is getting our paramedic staff up. I can see if we don't get up to that 4th person, that by the end of the year, one of those eligible retirees is probably going to jump ship. And then we'll be down to 2. And at that point, I don't know how we're going to run a service with just 2 people. Any other questions, guys?
How soon do you want to know from us?
You gotta get them signed up by June.
I got to get them signed up by June. I've got to go back to the City Council of Forest City in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I'd like to have an answer so we can get this person signed up.
When would you need the funding?
That's the other thing. I'm not quite sure when the sign-up, this class starts the 1st of August. So, it's going to be within next couple months.
My question was before or after the 1st of July?
After the 1st of July.
We can meet the next budget.
Because we've already done our budget amendments for this year.
Sure. I completely understand that with the class starting July 1st, we can make that work. If that was necessity, we can make that work. Because I don't know, DMAC is on semester hours, so I don't know if they charge per semester, bill out every semester, 3 semesters, so they might be able to do that. But again, I just had my first call back from DMAC yesterday, but we're doing some more research trying to find the cheapest way to go.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Let you know.
Scott?
Morning.
Morning.
Have month-end stuff from, or financials from April, so I thought I'd buzz through some of that stuff for you. Secondary road fund general balance is up to about 1.6 million. which has grown about 400,000 since last month. That's a strong balance for this time of year. And then as far as our budget goes, we're 10 out of the 12 months through the year, 83% of the way through the year. Our budget's at about 70. So even through some of our late snow events, our snow budget ended up looking solid. So our total budget looks okay at this point. Of course, some of the summer activities will start to speed that up later on, but our budget's looking promising, and so is our fund balance, so I think we're sitting pretty good. We don't have any major construction projects quite yet, but we've started on some maintenance projects. Mark and the crew are working on pulling some shoulders in some roads near Thorpe Park, between there and Fort City, using the new road groomer implement. So that's what they're working on, and the rest of the guys and their maintainers are out full time here trying to get things shaped up from the winter. So if they haven't been by a certain location, they should be soon. And the truck drivers are hauling spot loads and assisting with the other projects. Or guys are working hard to get things shaped up.
Yeah, they're all looking pretty good. Right around all fertilizer here, you can see a lot of secondary roads.
Yeah, good.
I haven't seen any real problem areas. The ones that were problems have already been spot done.
Good.
I was told we have a washout on 150th. I'm guessing they'll be fixing that soon. It's been fenced off.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. Then unfortunately, it's a wooden box culvert. I don't know how they made these things, kind of like puzzle pieces. And when part of it fails, it kind of goes down altogether. So fortunately, I don't think there's any repairs to it, and we'll just have to replace it. We have quotes. We have submitted requests for quotes for a box culvert to replace that. So.
Was it on our schedule?
It wasn't on the schedule because until they fail, they look great. So we'll have to try to sneak that in the budget, and hopefully we can save that through construction this summer. I mean, we typically will budget with contingencies, so it should work out just fine. Be able to continue with our bridge program and get the 6 done that we have planned.
Have you started the application process for replacement of the road?
We have a couple of guys have moved around to fill the vacancy, and so the guys are going to get another chance to move to the vacated spot before we post it. So we have not posted the job publicly yet.
You don't know where it's going to be.
That's right, and we don't know kind of the general duties or the primary duties of that job. So soon.
Well, I'm glad to hear people are interested in another.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some guys that drive kind of, back and forth to get to where their shops are, and so when a position opens, everybody tries to think, how can this be more convenient for where I live and things like that, so that when the snow's flying, they don't have to get across the county in the blizzard to get to their machine.
They need a Volkswagen.
What's that?
They need a Volkswagen, and you wouldn't know about it. You should. You two should too. You wouldn't know. There was a commercial on how do the people get to their snow plows in a Volkswagen.
Mm-hmm.
I am
So
quite confident.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Pretty sure we don't have any Volkswagen drivers among the crew, but
Yeah, someone under the snow.
You watch this thing just bound up the whole way down.
All right, I have one, R-74. It, right across from Ron's LP. There's that dike on the road that holds back a pond for Bill Young's property. Anyway, he says in the ditch, it's full of water, the culvert's plugged. He said about 6-7 years ago it happened too. So,
there's a dike that holds back water onto.
Yep, he made a big pond. He diked it, made a big pond.
What's his name?
Bill Young.
billion.
It's, I'm pretty sure that culvert would end, just dump into that. There's a drainage ditch.
The culvert is under the road, that's plugged.
Yep. Yeah, if you look in section 14, it's very close. Well, it's south of that drainage ditch, probably about a quarter mile. And that's all I have.
I will look into that for you.
All right.
All right, thanks, Scott.
You want to
This is Chris.
talk
We're
about
ready
the
for drainage.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we gotta do number 5 here.
Go ahead.
okay. So this secondary road budget amendment matches the amendment that was approved last week, but the DOT has paperwork that needs to go with it, so we approve it separately. And just a reminder, this budget amendment for our department is primarily due to the way that we buy equipment. Instead of trading in machinery, we sell it on auction and purchase machinery outright. So the budget amendment allows us to take those auction proceeds and pour it back into equipment the way that any other county does it. We are adding $200,000 to the new equipment budget and adding $150,000 in revenue from the auction, leaving about $50,000 difference there. But in this amendment, it has updated our year-end balance based on our new year beginning balance, just because we're always completing our budgets before the prior one's completed. And the difference between projected and actually year-end balances is about $220,000. So our fund balance is approaching $450,000 for the end of this fiscal year, which is strong for us and where I like to see it near about $500,000.
Okay for you? Then?
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve that amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve the secondary road budget or amendment number 1.
I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Bill to approve the secondary road budget amendment number 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
2 copies, both signatures from you and Carla, please.
Chris?
Hi. I just wanted to remind you that next week is a huge week to see here. It's all drainage. So the DD-21 annexation and reclassification report, DD-3 Lat 5 and 7 annexation reclassification reports, and DD-103. Hopefully we'll get them all done.
Plus, he said he was going to have a report on DD-11, open ditch.
Okay, well, I haven't heard from him that that's on the agenda yet.
Right, because their one engineer that was putting it together was out for 2 months. Now
Yes,
it's back.
yep, and she's back. I will send an email and find out.
You've been talking with Ron Peterson?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on there? I just got, he called me and
Yeah. Last Friday, he was calling me, and I think Thursday, he was calling me, and I was out doctor appointments with people. I didn't get there that day, but I got there the next day with Jerry Rubness was digging by the Grove, and that 10-inch tile that goes past, is it Archer's? Or Horn lives there, I think. It goes within 50 foot of the Grove. Well, they replaced a section that the tree roots had gotten into. I mean, and they put it solid, and it still got in there. And then the lower part to the south, to the corner of the Grove, hadn't been replaced. It was clay. So he replaced that first part up to where they had been replaced before, and it seemed to help relieve some of the pressure, but then after that rain this weekend or whenever it was, now you've got a 10-inch coming from Ron's. That's the main. And you've got a 10-inch coming down the hill from the northeast. And right now, that 10-inch coming down the hill gets to that Y out in Gordy's field, and now it's back flowing towards Ron's. So the water from the top of the hill is using Ron's place as a storage facility back up about 3/4 of a mile north or so.
Where are we at?
This is at sub 1.
Oh, DD1.
And it's a problem because when he's trying to get water to go out, it's actually coming in.
And is that, Rick is working on that?
That was supposed to be an improvement, and I'm not sure where he's at on that now. I've been trying to update him what we're finding.
He has been working on it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the suggestions I had made to Jerry and made to Ron and made to the engineer was when you've got this grove of trees and you've got this original 10-inch line, if we're going to do an improvement, why not move the improvement over a little ways and parallel another 50 feet to the west away from the trees and leave that other one in there since it's an improvement anyway. Just leave that one in there and let it be a wick for those tree roots. And maybe it stops some of the tree roots from going 100 foot over.
And you've told that to Rick?
Yeah. So he thought, yeah, that sounds like it might work. It's not going to cost us anything.
If they find their water, they'll stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt to leave that there just
right
for the roots to go to.
So we'll be talking about that next week.
I'm not sure if that one was on his agenda for next week. We can ask him about it next week.
Yeah, okay.
I think we should put it on our discussion if he's going to be.
And that's DD1's
sub 1, lot 2, right?
I'd have to look at my notes.
So it used to be DD1, lat 4, sub 1, lat 2. Now we eliminated the lat 4 and it's just sub 1, lat 2. Lat 2.
You got that memorized?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get that right. So you're on the radio telling people about that.
Oh, yeah, I'll hear all about it, yeah.
Yeah, all the farmers know what their reasons are.
Right, okay, so that's sub, yeah.
I guess the average KIW listener will be riveted to the edge of their seat listening to that.
You would be surprised how people are really into drainage. Yeah, they're huge on it, I think.
It's amazing how they'll fill a room out there.
Yes, it's shocking.
Well, people will understand that.
It's really awesome when you ride with Chris someplace, and as you're driving, she says, you know, they could use a little tile over here, or, man, if they just make that an open ditch, that would just work so much better. I don't know why they have that like that. It's good.
You think she dreams about drainage?
I think so.
Yeah, bad deal.
She loves her job.
Would have never guessed that would happen in my life.
So you wallpaper a room with maps and sit there and plot what needs to be done, or?
No.
No?
You know, just as I'm driving and I think, oh, there's a little slough in, or.
So getting back to the discussion on lat 2.
Sorry.
When I checked the outlet to the ditch, the culvert that comes under the road, the culvert is probably a 3-foot culvert, and it's flowing this deep. So the outlet's not the problem, other than, I don't know if elevation is the problem. It's flowing at the level of the water in the ditch, so the ditch clean out would be beneficial, I'm sure, but.
And that's the one we're not doing because of the culvert is too high. Right?
Right.
Okay.
So it may be if we end up improving this one, it's not going to do any good until we get the ditch.
And what are we, 2 or 3 years out?
Well, it'll at that point, that's definitely lower than the Y, so at least Ron won't have backup from Corey's. I wouldn't think. It's gonna force it out anywhere, it forces it out at the culvert, so.
That's what I'm confused about, we only got this much water at the bottom of the 3-foot culvert.
it's probably plugged. That's what Jerry thought. I talked to him yesterday at church, and he thought we should replace the whole line.
Yeah,
So,
even if it doesn't improve, we need to replace
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
and then put a parallel line, and we told him that'd be an improvement. Put a parallel line, I can't remember what size he said, whatever.
Bigger?
Yeah, no,
So do we have Rick talking to Jerry at all?
I haven't been.
You know what I
in on
mean?
this,
Because
so-
that would be kind of nice if the contractor and the engineer,
Parallel line where,
At
the first part of it,
yeah, yep,
so that water coming down the hill wouldn't affect that
Yep.
line?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That would make sense to me. I was wondering about some way of isolating Ron's part of it. And it still gives good flow for those other guys because they're taking a burden up there.
well, I understand, Ron, but there comes a point where you just gotta say, I gotta have it done, you know, and he doesn't wanna offend any neighbors, and, you know, that's, you gotta appreciate him for that. Sooner or later, you gotta get it done, so. Okay, anything else?
Yeah. DD-11, I went out and investigated that. It's really slow. I think there's gotta be an obstruction there somewhere.
an open ditch. Or the
No,
tile.
I mean, in the tile, the undersized tile. It's not backflowing like the others, but it's really slow. The water level were crosses 140th there before the ditch. I think that's in the intake. So at the first road crossing, the water line was 19 inches deep. And that would have been, I think, a 24-inch tile at that point. And then another quarter of a mile to the west, it was 24 inches deep. And at the next road crossing, it was 36 inches deep of water. So
Something stopping somewhere there.
but that tile's been a problem over the years. It's collapsing. And so even if we do put a ditch in for the first 3/4 of a mile or so, you're still going to have to deal with the collapsing tile the rest of the way.
Well, it's one of those things when we're figuring out that you just replace the entire length of things instead of piecemeal. Just makes it better in the end.
One part of it's getting rotten, it's all pretty logical to conclude that the other parts are probably just as we got one like that up in 68, we spot fixed it several times.
Right.
It just keeps.
I'll
Okay.
find out if he'll have that ready for next week. Okay,
You got anything else?
I don't.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks.
Chris, do you have the PD, or the B&W spraying contract?
No, I put a copy in there.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, some look at it this week.
Make a motion to approve the contract with Don Raper, B&W Spraying.
I'll second it.
Motion by myself, second by Terry, to approve the contract with Don Reaper, B&W Spraying. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Recovery Support Services.
I didn't print out the whole thing. I did have Kelsey look at it and she can see what that meant.
signature page.
Mhm.
Do you remember what the explanation was? There's change somewhere?
It's just like a minor, I can't remember. You want to call Kelsey and see if she's free? It was like 100 pages though, so it's fine.
Your call has been answered by a VIA IP office. Extension 7505 is not available. To leave a message, wait for the tone. When finished recording, press pound for more options. Record at the tone.
Morning, Kelsey. This is the supervisors. We were wondering if you had some information for us on the child support recovery contract. Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license for Benji Pub.
I'll second it.
Motion by myself, second by Bill, to approve the liquor license for the Benji Pub. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? My sack. And my sack. William.
Different street here.
I've said Bill 3 times so far.
Yeah. Okay, William. He's got enough grief about it now, he ain't gonna do it. Not necessarily grief, it's just levity or humor. I'm not offended anymore. I know I shouldn't be in today's culture.
On the MSISAC one, yeah. This is a paper copy. I emailed this to everybody so you had a chance to look at it if you wanted. And I guess basically MSISAC not having anything to do with ISAC that we talk about all the time, but basically like a computer security information sharing agency, and really what it does is allows us to tap into some of the knowledge and abilities that the Department of Homeland Security has as far as tracking who the bad guys are and what they're up to, and letting us know of things that we can do to protect ourselves. So I don't anticipate any cost of participating in this. It's something that a number of other, well, they've got a list of thousands of government agencies that are members of them, and I don't know, a couple dozen from Iowa. I'd like to see that number get bigger. But basically, we just have to sign an agreement to become a member, and then, like I said, it's it will allow me access to more information of how we can protect ourselves, and also they offer services like if there would be some kind of serious issue where we got hacked or there was some kind of a breach or something like that, they have response teams. If they warrant that it's some kind of a big issue that's going on, they can actually remotely or send somebody physically on site to help take care of whatever is going on. And I, of course, would hope we never would need that, but since there's no cost to this and it's a very prevalent issue these days, that's another reason why I feel like it would be a good thing to be a part of.
Is there a cost involved?
There's no membership fee. They have some services that they will provide for a fee if we want them. But the what?
Upon need.
Yeah. There's a page here, additional fee-based services. They have, some monitoring or consulting. assessments, things like that, where they come in like for a project or they're providing a specific service for a specific time period that they would charge for. But to just be a member, there's no fees. I believe their funding and their ability to exist comes from the federal level at the Department of Homeland Security. It's in the federal government's best interest to protect the local governments, state governments. So, the state of Iowa is a member. There's a number of counties.
What's the downside not doing it?
We have one less friend looking out for us.
I think
Don't know why we wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I think it's an important
Yeah,
group to belong to.
Yeah, I feel the same. And actually, I had put this on the agenda beforehand, but the governor just had their annual cybersecurity symposium down at Camp Dodge last week, and there was a representative from, well, I don't know if they were straight from MSISAC or from another. There's a whole lot of acronyms when you start getting into these things, but yeah, they were suggesting, becoming members of this and talking about the different services that they have available. So,
if it's good enough for Tippecanoe County, it's gotta be good enough for us.
are they in there?
Tippecanoe County, Indiana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the alphabetical list. I just took a chunk out of the middle of it.
I'm sure I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with ISAC.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Terry to approve the agreement with MS-ISAC. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
All right,
Get this in after it's signed.
Okay, so what we're asking is for the funeral leave and family illness leave to include step parent.
Step parents. The typical.
I didn't even read it.
You didn't see that.
How'd you like to be?
Can you define family illness? Is there parameters there?
Describes.
I'm talking about family illness.
I can find that for you if you want. Employees may use up to 5 days per anniversary year for the care of an employee's child. And then explains that spouse or the employee's parents, biological or adoptive, does not include parents-in-law.
But what is illness? I mean, is it doctor's office visit? Is it hospitalization?
It can be anything from a doctor's appointment to a hospitalization.
Or one home sick with the flu.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything where you required to take off work because.
to take care of
to take care of your
a
child.
child, a spouse, or a parent.
So what's the request now?
For a step parent to be able to do it.
To include step parent, and then in the funeral leave, if your step parent would pass away, to be able to use funeral leave for a step parent.
I don't mind the funeral leave for step parents. Guess I'm kind of ambivalent on the other. see where that can get abused real easily.
Well, I guess,
Somebody's either got parents or they don't. If my parents were divorced and remarried, I'd have a parent and a step parent.
She'd have 3 that you're looking after,
Well, possibly, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or 4.
or 4.
I mean, hopefully I don't have to look after them all.
No,
And I'm thankful that I don't have to.
Or hopefully we can just skip it all together, right?
Yeah.
well, my opinion is we can change that for funeral, but I'd like to leave the family almost the same. That's my opinion. I know you're not afraid to give an opinion, so.
You shocked me so bad with that statement about when you were Bedford. So, I mean, what we're talking about here is, say, you're a stepdad, and his stepchild is sick. We want to be able him to, that's
No.
not it?
It's, so if my mom remarried some guy,
Oh,
I would go if I needed to take time off to take care of my step-parent.
take the step-parent to the doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's understandable. Is there an instance where that's come up, that this is,
Where it's come up is the funeral leave.
yeah, the funeral leave, I mean, step-parents, I know some kids that are closer to their step-parent than they are the one that got replaced, so I don't have a problem with that.
Well, it's just so ambiguous, because it could be a step-parent that, like in my wife's case, got married and her dad got remarried and after her mom died and we didn't have anything to do with her. So, I mean, it's just, to me, like I say, I'll go along with the funeral leave, I'd just as soon not change it for the family illness.
well, I could probably do this in steps and see if something comes up to where it would be questioned on the illness part of it.
You know, and sometimes where people are changes it, but you would think that step-parent possibly would have their own children somewhere else that could take care of them.
Mhm.
That's
That's
not,
been my experience.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, for now, I'm on the same page as Mike.
So the verbiage we're talking about, if we approve what we've discussed now, is just to include step parents in the funeral.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve such.
I'll second it.
Motion by Terry, seconded by Bill to approve the verbiage change for funeral leave to include step-parents, and we will leave family illness the same. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Management.
There's this one, you know. It's just Eagle Pork, and then Brian Ridland, and there's no other identification on where.
Address up there, 160th.
Oh.
So that would be, that's the D blacktop? No, it's north of me. Where I use it, but
60th.
that would be up to south of Teresa. North of Smoky's old place.
Do you have a window open in your office?
Trying to get a breeze to go through.
Oh, south Teresa.
That's 47, so this is gonna be 46.
It's north of down, and there's one on that level B road. Isn't there?
I don't remember.
Here, I'll bring it up on.
It's either Charles Engelbertson or,
I remember one on that
Beth Thompson. No, it's 35. Oh, sure, yeah.
road. Steve Nelson. Okay.
You know Steve and Gary Nelsonville? Mm-hmm. That's where it is.
Coming out real well. Oh, Steve, I had a conversation.
You remember him?
Yeah,
So are we in open forum?
Open
I'd like-
forum, we're
I'd
waiting
like-
for,
I'd like to congratulate everyone for doing their due diligence on the issue of backfill for property taxes.
statement you'd like to make, Carla, while the media's still here, get a quote for the radio.
I don't want to make.
did you stick your head in and get Bill, Chelsea, that we need to see her?
I'm frustrated that we only got 3 years versus the 6 because of what they perceived as our growth, and which didn't really happen, and so
I had Speaker of the House called me on Friday, wondering different things about our turbine taxes, and she's
Getting some election stuff at the moment, apparently.
Okay.
she wanted to, there's certain things, when our ordinance says it ends at year 19 or whatever, what happens after that? Well, I found out after that, it just kind of keeps continuing to go unless you repeal the resolution. So they kind of understand that it could be like if we get more turbines in 5-6 years, we'll be getting more revenue. Maybe it won't hurt so much to not have the backfill. But right now, it's hurting us. So what we did was any new turbines going forward will not get the rollback of the property taxes. But the ones that are currently on there are getting the rollback. But it doesn't mean that we may still get a change in administrative rules.
I think there will be a change because the power companies or utilities are probably gonna go, now, wait a minute, you're not taxing us here, but you're taxing us here. Let's have some clarity here.
Now, the legislature, some of the opinion I got from the legislature, to be honest, they really don't care what the utility companies said. They're just, the money's gonna come from somewhere because their rates are based on profit, not, and, it'll just be passed on to the consumer somewhere along the way.
Yes, it will.
but they are listening, and sounds like this was the first step, and then they're looking at what they're gonna do next year.
I think they ran out of time. I think they just ran out of time. They're sitting there trying to get that budget together, and they're already working overtime there, and then.
But she's, Mel said they're gonna work through the summer to resolve things. We'll have to say it something.
Our legislature gave away our natural resource. That's what it comes down to back then. And it's really kind of disgusting.
Well,
So,
it's
and
a-
then I
what
understand
now?
that the mental health region language got in there.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be able to realign if we so choose.
I was trying to find that, I didn't have time.
Yeah, I have not seen it officially,
Officially,
I've
it's
just
just have to
heard
be taken care of today.
of it.
Let me go just grab that email quick.
Yeah, I was gonna do a follow-up on the mental health, the 6 region, 6 locations. It's not coming to mind. I've got too many things flying around in here. The 6 critical areas that Lincoln proposed and the governor, I guess, and everybody else has proposed. I was going to do a follow-up on that one and try to get some quotes from some people. I think I'm just going to have to go grassroots with it because there seems to be a little bit of a perception confusion going on. People aren't exactly sure what is going to happen here because of you guys possibly seceding and.
One of the requirements is gonna be that we gotta take a city with at least a population of 24,000 livers.
No, you got it right over there.
Well, if they,
Well,
and then Fort Dodge
Fort
also.
Dodge.
But if we don't get one of those two, for whatever reason, then we're back down to, which I personally cannot understand why you have to. All you have to do is be able to provide services, why you have to have a major city. Unless they're trying to make sure that the rural dollars help to take care, because those people don't care where the money comes from as long as the mental health is taken care of. And if they can get the rural dollars to help take care of because you can follow where the money goes. And I was looking at the thing, or meth lab bus per county. Which counties lead in meth lab bus? And the biggest concentration of mental health problems in just about exactly in those cities. And they have a problem and they want us to help, And and I want to help people, but they already have the advantages of having all the services and jobs and
Yeah.
So they can take care of
Let them
themselves.
help. Let's levy them for the mandate of EMS services we're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the kind of the overview, the front page. I still didn't print out the contract because it's huge. Nothing, I'm looking for your air.
Oh. I was going to say, it is rather warm in here. But then I tend to be cold-blooded, so this is.
And we can wait till next week, because it looks like June 1st is when it's gotta be back to them, so.
You wanna take care of this week, you wanna do next?
Well, it'd be nice if Kelsey had a chance to look at it.
Yep. Table that then?
Okay,
What's this for?
that's for this.
Shop, okay, shops for.
Here, I'll take that and just put up the rest of it so that,
All right.
We're tabling the,
Recovery services.
are we also tabling the paramedic?
there was
Yeah,
no,
There's no action on that, so.
I'll put it
You
on the
just come
agenda
in
for
there and
next
give us
week.
information.
I see.
And I guess we can.
Well-
We can discuss it, I
Are
suppose.
you looking for me?
Trial recovery services.
No, Kelsey, not Chelsea,
Oh,
the attorney.
I was like, I
I
don't know anything about DHS, but
I know nothing.
my fault.
Nice seeing you.
On a busy day.
It's spelled the same without your glasses, so don't worry about it.
So are we adjourned?
Yes, we are.